Oh, mine's just waiting. Everybody, welcome back to Aces 53 with Ed Parcaut and myself. And on Tuesdays, it's just Ed and I talking, usually arguing like grumpy old men. But today is a Thursday. Well, it's because I'm usually right. You're just incorrect a lot. See, it's almost like a Tuesday. And then on Thursdays, as you know, we bring in a special guest, something we call a joker. What is a joker? A joker is someone with a special skill or talent. And we have someone who will be bringing on here in just a moment. But how's your week going, Ed?
It's going great until, as you can see today, my regular Sony camera went down, and it's got to be some type of driver, of course, because of course you can, whether it's software or hardware. I had those discussions when I was younger in the computer industry, so I always know it's an issue with something. So it's probably a cable. It doesn't those. Who knows? So,
I know. Do you have a Mac in there, or do you have a? I know it tried to push an update to mine last night, so I wonder if that's what yours.
Mine, it went down yesterday, and then I was rebooting, which usually happens where you can get in and it works, and then all of a sudden my actual monitor went down because of all. So,
okay,
yeah, I got my big monitor back, and then now I still can't connect. But luckily, the one thing about the positive thing is the fact that I still have like 4 of these Avayas that come with where you can do the in and out,
zoom in,
4K,
zoom out,
4K. Or the best part is when you're sitting there, you can get, I'm not exactly in the middle. Hold on, let me fix that. Where with my Sony, it's like move the camera,
right? Physically move it.
But I like the blurred background, and I didn't like how it looked with my background, so I had to use my green screen.
I got you.
And I have it, my old studio. So, I'm done talking about, crying stuff. But I did, you always hate hearing me about my pod, but my new person who's overseeing is starting to, I told her the other day, if you can handle it, handle it. And she's handling it. So
good. Well, that's one of the things the joker we have on today, she's got a team. And so she's got a physical team with her that does a lot of stuff, but we'll bring her on in just a moment. Anything else you want to talk about before we introduce Sarah?
Let's see. No.
Nope. All right. Awesome.
Was there anything else we need to talk about?
I don't think so. I think we'll talk about it on the week of the 22nd. We won't be on because we'll both be in San Diego.
Yeah, but we'll do it from there.
Yeah, we'll try. We'll see how the Wi-Fi is.
Oh, that's right. You're not in the VIP area.
Oh, that hurts, Ed. That really, really hurts.
Well, and they won't let me have you come in. They don't allow that.
Yeah. I'll talk my way in. We'll figure it out.
Of course you will. You borrow someone's badge, walk right in.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just pretend to be Cosm. So, all right. So there we go. So this week's special guest, aka the Joker, is Sarah Strackhouse. So I met Sarah recently when a friend of ours, Karen Gray, who we've had on the show before, we wanted to mimic something that Steve Sims did. So Steve put together an event for speakers to be able to get assets. Because one of the things when you're trying to build your personal brand, everything else is you don't always get the best pictures or video when you're speaking at a corporate event or an association. So, Steve did the Orpheum Theater, a year and a half, 2 years ago. And we decided to replicate that here in Dallas, Texas. And the reason why is because there's so many speakers who are coming or just starting to build their business that they don't have the right type of assets. They don't have photos. They don't have headshots. They don't have what's known as B-roll or people getting on and off stage. And they don't have good stage shots. So like, for example, one of the big events I just spoke at last month, they want to be able to show my slides. And so there's very little of me on stage, but there's a lot of my slides. And then they cut to me a few different times. So we came up with the idea of replicating it here. So it's called the Speaker's Advantage. And on October 15th in Plano, Texas, we're basically going to have where people come in and they get 15 minutes, they reserve time, talk up to 15 minutes, they can do wardrobe changes, all that kind of stuff. Well, Karen hosts events, I speak at events, but what we realized is we were missing that third leg of the table there, and that is where Sarah comes in, and that is really understanding the audiovisual aspect of it, what's the right way to set up the room, and of course, how to use everything for media. And so that's a little bit about Sarah's background. So Sarah, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I thanks so much for the intro, and thanks so much, guys, for having me on. So I have
Sarah, before you get going, where's your mic at? Is it? Can you bring it closer?
Yes.
Because you sound like you're not coming through it.
Is that good?
Yeah,
is that better?
Much better.
Okay.
I have headphones on so I can hear the echoes.
Got you. All right, there we go. Yeah, so we're Strackhouse Media. We're a media company, and we focus on kind of two main things. One is the event production side of things, and then the other is really traditional media services. So on camera, getting comfortable on camera, training, and really how to pitch yourself to the media and how to get credibility and authority in the industry. And the event side is, like you said, the AV production and putting on live events, so conferences, galas, stuff like that. So when you brought up the Speaker's Advantage, it was just I was so excited to be part of it. So
Now, what's a little bit of your background? I know we put it in
Yeah.
the show notes for people joining, but what is your history and background that makes you the media expert?
So I worked in news for a very long time. Started actually in college, working at a station in New York City, and then worked up there for 5-6 years, and then eventually came down to West Texas, and I worked as a Photoshop artist, a field producer, a reporter, anchor, the whole gamut of things. And then eventually I got into the digital side of the media world and got into the podcasting and digital television, basically, and what that whole aspect looks like. And then eventually, a few years ago, I kind of got out of the traditional news setting and started to work for myself. So news, background, TV, and a whole lot of run and gun.
Yeah. And we were talking yesterday, so Ed's not privy to this, but when we were in, was it yesterday or 2 days ago?
What
2
day
days
is
ago.
it now?
Tuesday.
Yeah, 2 days
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. On Tuesday we talked. And what's interesting is you have no problem talking to a camera.
Yes.
I have no problem talking to an audience. And we're talking about how people have those different fears.
Yep.
A lot of people are scared to get up on stage and talk in front of people. Then some people are completely fine with it. Some of the hardest things for me when I got started was actually talking into a camera versus talking to people, because I like to be around people. That's great. Talking to the camera felt like, ooh, I feel very judged. And now I'm gonna have to put this thing out there. Like when you speak live in front of people, when you leave the stage, you're done, unless they bought the recordings or something of that nature. Right. But when you put something on video, it's fear of long-term judgment. But you said what's interesting is you have the inverse problem, which is you have no problem talking to a camera.
Yeah, well, that's in my mind, a camera is an object. Yeah, there's an audience on the back of it, but you're talking to an object. Whereas in person, you can see all those eyes looking back at you, and that freaks me out.
Yeah, I remember when I always said, "Give me a live any day" versus being on stage. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to do a live. I don't want to do these kind of things. But because I do live radio too, so I'm used to that, messing up and being okay. And I think the biggest problem people have is understanding that you're going to mess up. You just got to get out.
No matter what.
Yeah,
oh
period.
yeah.
I mean,
that's one of the biggest issues I see even in the media world. People are afraid to just try because they're worried about making mistakes. People don't want perfection. They don't care about perfection. People want you to be real with them. They want you to be authentic. They can tell when you're being fake.
Plus, and they don't want it over edited. Sorry, Brian.
No.
You've been talking this whole time. They don't want you to over edit your stuff, your podcast, your other stuff. They want you to leave in the mistakes, the the ahs, and people are like, because they ask me all the time, do you take them out of your podcast? I'm like, no, learn not to do them.
Yeah.
It's the same thing Brian and I had. Brian was so, and mine was basically. We had words that we used too much, that you're not supposed to.
I use the word awesome all the time. Oh, that's
I say
awesome.
so. Yeah. Oh, so.
Yeah, Brian, that was our drinking games.
Yes.
I'd be pretty drunk if I played that with awesome.
One of his things.
Well,
and that's okay because things you have to. And the other thing is, I'm sorry, Brian, I'll let you talk. Is don't say really. Or how they say that extra word when they're talking, and when people are trying to get people to accept with what they're doing, it's not really. It's the other word I'm looking for. I can't think of it right now. But there's so many times people say these, certain things to get you to like, and that's
agree with them.
Exactly.
A big one another one that I do is I say, at the end of a lot of sentences. You know what I mean?
I don't think I heard you say that one the other day, but what was the one?
Probably not on camera.
Yeah, that's the worst part about going back through Opus clips and having it cut up all your words. But I love that you can go in and get rid of the filler words. And you're like, aha, that I can just go in and say, get rid of so, and it gets rid of the the ones that were there.
Yep.
Yeah, but see, I don't even watch my old stuff, like listen to my old radio stuff back from 2018, because I know it's bad. I was horrible. But the only way I got better at it, and people kept asking me, why are you doing so many lives? Why are you doing? It's like the more you do it, the better you get at it.
Yeah,
you
getting the reps in
where you don't care.
I remember some of my Sorry. I remember some of my first lives as a reporter. I was in West Texas and I was blinking so much and it was so painful to watch back. And I sounded like I'd never spoken before in my life. So I was like, it's rough watching those.
It's a
But
stress thing. The more
you have
stressed
to
you are,
try it
the
out.
more you
Yeah.
blink. Yeah.
Yeah.
In a 6-minute X-ray by, oh gosh, what's his name? Chase Hughes. They talk about that. Watch people's blink rate, and so when they're nervous, then they blink more when they're doing it. But I think it also has something to do with the lights, because I swear
Yeah.
when I don't blink nearly as much when I'm not recording something and all these lights are on me, I think my eyes are like, okay, we need a break.
Yep. Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah. Well,
It's the glasses.
yeah. Ed was talking earlier about leaving in the scripts. Like, so when we recorded something on Tuesday, I accidentally said wardrobe malfunction instead of we have a wardrobe consultant. I think
Yeah.
we're going to leave that in there, right?
Yeah, but it sounds great.
Yeah.
It was funny and it was real. And like I said, that's what people want to see.
Mm-hmm.
So
Because they don't want to overproduce, like I said. They just don't,
no.
because they're so used to that people have
Mhm.
taken it and made it. And so with AI,
Oh my
nobody makes
gosh.
mistakes with AI.
You know, it's funny. I just saw a reel on Instagram, and it was by these filmmakers, and they did a top version of them actually putting a commercial together for this ice cream, and then the bottom was AI, and the prompts were really good, and there was so much back work that went into putting this reel together. And
Mhm.
they asked people to vote at the bottom, you know, which one do you like better? And they're both very, very similar, both very, very good, but obviously one just has that like level of perfection that the textures aren't real enough, like the colors are super saturated. But it's crazy how many people actually voted for that as their favorite one. And I was like, I don't
Mhm.
know, I'd rather the rusty rough around the edges version, you know, any day.
Yeah.
But
We've had Larry Roberts on, Red Hat guy, on before.
yeah, yeah, of
And
course.
one of his big things is, oh, yeah, well, I was on ABC, whatever. Like, he's in the news quite a bit. And that's one of the reasons
Mhm.
we have you here today as a media expert. People know as a speaker, okay, like I need a website, I need a sizzle reel, I need all this kind of stuff. What if people want to get and try and pitch themselves to media? What is it that people aren't doing that they should be doing?
One of the biggest things is not actually paying attention to who they're pitching to. So a lot of people put together this great pitch and I have all of these subjects and I sound fantastic. And maybe they'll even have their story, which a lot of people also forget to do, but they'll have their story in there and then they'll send a blanket email to the newsroom or to certain people. But if you really have to look at the specific reporter or the specific podcast host or whoever you're reaching out to. For example, when I was in West Texas, I was an oil and gas reporter. So I would get education pitches, health pitches. Oddly enough, in West Texas, water was a really big deal. So I got water pitches
Mhm.
and I would just ignore them. You know, they weren't in my realm. I'm crazy busy trying to just, you know, field all of my stories. So that's kind of one of the biggest issues that we see is, you know, people are sending podcast hosts blank pitches or pitches that have nothing to do with what their show is even about. So it takes, you know, 10 minutes to just do a little research, go on Instagram, even, you know, listen to a part of the episode at least, or watch the news segment and see what they report about. And then reach out to that specific person. You can find their contact on, you know, a DM on Instagram, Twitter, or X, wherever, you know, email. So
And
that's one of
then
the biggest issues.
another thing
Sorry.
you could do, no, you're good. I cut you off. Other thing you can do is whatever the podcast is, ask your assistant to run a thing and make you sound for that podcast. And then you
Yeah.
send that text or email to them and say, this is how you relate to their podcast or their other stuff. Cause that's what I started doing when I want to get on other people's podcasts.
Mhm.
I just, what's the thing? Okay, now is this a good fit for me? And then Chat is my Chat GPT, by the
Oh,
way.
yeah. I
Um,
was gonna say that it's my best employee too.
yeah, and I just because it knows me. I drop my book in there. It
Yeah.
knows my voice.
Mhm.
It knows everything about me. Um,
Mhm.
somebody researched me and like I could not believe how much they know about you out there, especially on ChatGPT. And it's like because
Yeah.
I've been using it since 22, and
Oh,
it knows
wow.
everything about me. And now whenever I ask it, and now the fact that it can go all the way back through all of them, excuse me, Mike, it actually can. You don't have to go and start a new thing. You just say, I'm trying to do this, and it searches all your old stuff and it finds it and does everything for you.
Yeah.
Well, and Sarah's a product of the product. So she's not just preaching one thing, doing something separate. So when we said, hey, do you want to come on with me and Ed today? She's like, can you send me links to previous ones so she could go and scope it out ahead of time?
Yeah, I went and creeped a bunch.
Yeah. But to your point, I've had people that I hate, they reach out and they're like, hey, so what's your business? You reached out to me. I didn't reach out to you. You know, if you're going to hit me up, take 2 seconds to look at the LinkedIn or like, hey, where do you live? I don't know. Maybe it's listed there. Like it's simple stuff.
Nuts. In a townhouse.
Yeah.
What do you care?
Yeah.
No, we get them all the time through, LinkedIn or wherever they hit you up. And I want to help you with your grow your what are you, how are you going to do that? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Just
don't know what I do. Yeah.
And exactly. And we learned a long time ago from Steve, it's like, you don't have to reply just because people are sending you stuff. You don't have to reply back. Yep. And it's how many times do I get, this will be my last time. You said that 6 times ago.
Yeah.
I know. And if I'm wasting my time, let me know. You wasted your time every single time you reached out.
Yes. I like when they list. I helped Steve Smith get $350,000 in emails. I don't know who Steve Smith is. So
that has no relevance.
Exactly.
For me. Yep. Well, like I said, it's an extra step, but it's a 10-second step, especially if you have an AI friend. So it's, it's an easy fix that people can do.
Yeah. Because not everybody has a degree, a liberal arts degree who knows how to speak or talk or write.
Right.
There's a big difference to know.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And the other thing is, another big thing that we see is people don't actually tell about themselves. They feel like either a podcast or news want this perfect version, like we said before. And all you have to do is have a little bit of storytelling, a little bit of background, and then people want to see the real you, because the produced fake version, even in a pitch, even in an email to a podcast host, people can see right through it. So have some personality in there and reach out to the right person.
I hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
I hope this email finds you well. I used Chad the other day and it started an email outreach like that. I was like, no, that is like 2022. Everyone knows what that is. Yeah.
It's supposed to remember, and it says it's supposed to remember, but it still does those 2, that mark that
M dash. Yeah.
It's like, okay, I told you not to use this. Oh, I'm sorry.
I know.
That's an interesting one. So yesterday, this is kind of off subject, but I'm in Adam Lyon's mastermind on AI, and he's a fan of 5, but his favorite one is still 3, because there's still some issues with 5 that they're working out. He still will pick that over Perplexity and the other ones, but it's interesting because he goes back and uses 3 a lot more than he does 5 right now.
See, mine is deep research, period.
Yeah.
No, because the other day, you don't know me, Sarah, but I do a lot for veterans, and I own a mortgage company, but I also own a veterans benefit company now, because I went through it and I saw the headache that we go through to get this done. And I wanted to research how many veterans out there are at different levels of disability through the VA. And I kind of had the information, so I told it to go check and verify everything, and came back and verified everything and told me what those numbers were. And then I took that and I created 10 blogs from it.
Oh, wow.
They put that on our Helping the Brave website, because that used to be just a podcast. Now it's a veterans benefit company, because it's just how it went that way. And so, just stuff like that. But I found all that information through a deep research, which you can't just do it regular Chad. Go check.
Right.
It won't do it right. It won't find that right information. But from that, the 10 different ones are just shockingly amazing with numbers and everything else that gets people to think. And then I can take all that information, create social media posts, everything else from it.
Right.
That's awesome. Yeah. I feel like I'm struggling a little bit with 5. I actually also like 3 better, but 5 is, I think for probably that deep research you're talking about, it's been great, but it's
what's the issue?
Struggling. It's struggling with a lot of basic stuff. I was asking it to make a template, and I have relatively detailed prompts, and it was just struggling with the basic stuff. I think it's so focused on the deep research side of things.
Yeah, well, I find, like, when I create t-shirt images, that your phone is better for that than the desktop.
Yeah.
I'm just the version it uses for mobile just creates things so much better. And I've done that even with logos. I'm like, just give me my phone; it'll be better and faster over there.
That's good to know. I haven't tried that.
Yeah. Like even LinkedIn, putting up LinkedIn posts way better from my phone than it is from the computer. It just
Yeah.
seems to be easier to manage and upload.
I would say.
All right, now my turn to talk. All right,
Yes,
you guys are
again?
putting the speaker
Are you
van
sure?
together, right? Which is the first time hearing this. So thanks for getting me involved. But anyway, I'm just messing with you. But I saw somebody else post something that I thought, okay, they said, because Steve Sims said, so it's almost like they were using him to promote their thing. And I'm getting tired of seeing that out there. I know you guys aren't, but I'm just saying I'm seeing that a little bit. And I'm starting, just like my post I posted in the beginning, the first month about how tell everybody how important they are to you. Don't just, because everybody was posting all this stuff about how great he was after the fact. And then it was about them. And you just got to be careful with that. That's all I got to say.
Well, I think the one you're talking about, it's the one that was running today. I was actually on that one earlier. And it was actually Mitchell Peak. And he wanted to do a way to remember Steve because he saw everything. So it was called the blue fishing mortgage and whatever. But it was all people coming on.
It was called Go for Stupid.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't see that one. The one that I saw today was great. I actually was on it. I dropped off of it for this. But it was all people telling Steve stories.
That's not
what's great.
This is an AI thing about Go for Stupid.
I get you. Yeah.
Same. Just all I'm saying is be careful using somebody else's stuff and saying it's a tribute. Well, then it's a tribute, and
right.
Make it a tribute.
Well, it's like everybody's doing with Alex Hormozy after his launch, right? Oh, well, this is what Alex did right or wrong. I keep seeing all these ridiculous. I can teach you the same thing, but for $297 instead of $6,000. Everybody's just trying to feed off of other people's
$24,000, not
$6,000. Because there was one that showed up today. What was it called? Let me see if I can find the ad for it. I saw it on Instagram earlier, but it was the AI something, and it's now for $297 instead of whatever it paid. Let's see if I can find it. If I run across it, I'll pop it back up.
But, I mean, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's funny. I was just talking to a business coach yesterday who was talking about the fact that now with, going back to AI, I guess, but talking about AI, so many people can say, okay, pretend you're Tony Robbins and give me, the breakdown in my, what I need to do for my business or for my sales, or pretend you're Grant Cardone or whoever it is. And, it might give you really good ideas and stuff like that, but there's nothing that can substitute for the actual brain of the person and the personality, the interaction, there's a reason why the Tony Robbins, the Grant Cardones, those people of the world are charging those amounts of money, rather than the $2.99 chat version.
Yeah.
Brian's his $95 chat version.
That's right.
No, but there is a version. There is a version that people need to have that's quick, and they can have these. There are
for
that
sure.
segment.
Yeah.
And again, you just need to find out who your perfect client is, and just go after that perfect client, and everything else will work out. And I want to go back a little bit. We were talking about podcasting and all the different things and how people are. I had a guy who came on Helping the Brave, which it's a veteran podcast about your transition and everything else. And he's like, oh, when you said you were available early, I didn't have my shirt on, the right shirt on, everything else. My branding expert would be really upset with me. And I'm thinking, okay, first, one, it's a podcast. Two, you need to be who you really are. Don't fake who you are. I only had that happen one other time on my Inner Edison podcast, probably 3 years ago. She was out in New York. She came in from a run. She goes, this is right when people went to video before it was video. And she's like, I didn't know it was going to be on video. And I just got done from working out and all this. I go, no one's going to care. They're not. They want to know who you are as a person, not this is me made up. They don't want to see the made up people. They want to see who you really are. And so we ended up doing the podcast. And this is when I used Christy at the time. And I said, Christy, can you look at this and listen to this? And she's like, dude, you can't use this. You guys argued the whole time, because that's just who she was.
Yeah.
He would say these big words. They'd be these big words, and I'd say, okay, so basically what you're saying is, and I'd bring it down to what everybody else uses. It's just like, that's not what I said. That's exactly what you
Now I want to hear this podcast.
Yeah. No, it had technical issues, and it never was.
Got it.
God, I wish I had that name. I would reach out to her and be like, Ed really wants you back on.
But only if you come on after a run.
That's right.
No, but I'm just be who you are. Don't worry about. I mean, that's like, everybody who goes on stages and T-shirts and everything else. That's who they are, unless they're not that way and they're trying to dress down to that. Or if that's who you are in a suit and tie, then be who you are.
Yeah.
No one cares. I mean,
And
look at Alex and Rosie, the only guy who's been on stage with a thing across his nose.
Well, and a wife beater.
Well, I'm just saying that, well, not only that, but not everybody has the strip across the nose for breathing.
Yeah.
You know, he was comfortable enough to be who he is.
Yeah.
Total ADD moment. He was on Diary of a CEO and just rewatched that episode the other day. I didn't know he had breathing problems most of his life, and that's the whole reason he started doing the nose strips. Is he literally couldn't breathe the majority of his life, and then he started wearing them. They were a game changer, and then he's like, "Screw it, I'm leaving them on because I can finally feel right and breathe right."
In real
I've
life.
listened to every one of his podcasts, so I all the way back. You know, because I used to do 5 Mile Walk constantly, and the only thing to do is listen to a podcast while you're doing that.
Yeah.
Well, I always think about Jesse Itzler. We had him at an event one time come and speak, and he got so excited because, the person who was picking him up was in a pickup truck. And then, he hopped on stage with just like an undershirt and jeans. And I think he had his bandana on, and he was just so down to earth and so real. Like right when he walked off stage, he was the exact same person as who he was on stage. And it's people like that, you want to follow and you want to actually pay attention to, and, you believe what they're putting out. So that was a hard thing transitioning from news into having a business for me. Was you always had to be perfect and buttoned up, and everything was scrutinized as a reporter, and you're on camera, and then actually having to go into my business and try to be me or try to relate to people, it was hard to break that barrier professionally, for sure.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Well, and then you have, when you do media, you've got, they're counting down, somebody's talking in this ear and somebody's talking in this ear, and you have to do like right brain, left brain, and listen to them, but still do your stuff. It's like 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds. All right, we're going to break. It was a lot. I was like,
yes.
All
at once.
Producer in one ear, and then the news or commercial, other stuff in the other ear, so when that's how radio is. And you have in the same A block, B block, C block, all the different things like on TV, and it's the live ones. It's like you can hear in there. Yeah, I can hear. Okay, and you just keep going.
Yep, you just
I
figure
got
it out.
Voices in my head, I'm good.
Well, the worst is when you get the mixed minus and you're trying to speak and you sound completely drunk because you're trying to repeat yourself after you're hearing yourself. And I remember one time it was like raining and I just sounded crazy. I ended up just ripping it out of my ear. And I got a lot of comments for doing that on camera, but I was like, I couldn't speak. I couldn't hear anything. All I could hear was me myself, repeating multiple times.
When you go to like podcasting and you have the mic and the board, that's one of the things you have to turn off is the mix minus on those boards. Otherwise, and people don't understand that. And there's a lot. I mean, you just have things that I know. The only reason I know what I know is because I was in radio, and it wasn't like I was a DJ. It was, it was a talk radio show, and they would set it up, and I learned everything because I wanted to know exactly what to do right because I'm that way.
Yeah. Take me around a camera and I feel great. The videography side, I had to do that a lot, but the audio, that's where, my knowledge kind of ends. And luckily in the events world, you have amazing techs who know what they're doing, but I don't know the audio stuff. I'm like, you don't want me pressing buttons back there.
What do I do? There's too many choices. Yeah.
I'm just going to mute everything.
Going back to kind of what we talked about earlier, people know Speaker One Sheet, have a a speaker page on a website. You mentioned before personalizing the message. Don't blanket pitch people. This is my ADD. Going back to West Texas and the water, I went to school in Lubbock. I can understand because the water there tasted horrible, so that's why they probably talked about it all the time.
Yes, that, and it was like it was so scarce. So like it was always an issue of where are we getting our water next.
Yeah,
sounds like Arizona.
Oh yeah, that's.
So
what else should people have? Like, I know it used to be when I first got into speaking, like 2019, people said you need to have a media page that had like where someone can go and research you and they can steal your headshot, they can steal your bio, that kind of stuff. Is that still relevant, or what do you recommend people have?
It's definitely still relevant. I think more so, you want to have an online presence. You want to have somewhere where people can go, make sure that you're credible, make sure that you actually spoke at the places you say you did. But I mean, I think you mentioned before, having that reel is so important because we get asked all the time. Clients are saying, we're looking for good speakers. We're looking for people who are going to rally the crowd, who are going to make the audience buy tickets for next year in the moment, you know, they want to keep butts in seats. They don't want people going out into the lobby and then just, hanging out at the bar the rest of the time, which, people want to do at conferences, but you want them to stay entertained. So a lot of times people will ask for, hey, who are some of the best speakers you guys have had? Who are the best speakers you guys have heard? And we'll send over a list, and no one without a reel gets looked at a second time. People want to see, well, how did they interact with the audience? How did they actually sound? How did they look? Did they look awkward and jittery, or, so that was kind of a big thing, is having that reel. That was always the same in media. You had to kind of have a media reel, make sure that people are comfortable on camera. It's a little less like that now with media, just because everyone can have a podcast and social presence. So you don't need more of a traditional reel, but for speaking, for sure, still very, very needed.
Now, do you provide speakers or?
We do. Yeah. So we have a running list and it's completely free to be on that list. It's just, we send it over to people. We have a list of, here's your people's talking points. They send us their one sheet, they send us their reel. We put it on our spreadsheet and we send it off. So happy to,
what's the best thing to have on a one sheet? What do people forget to put on a one sheet? Let's say that.
The credibility side of things, where they've spoken, I can speak on, and then the other thing is keeping the subject points generic. That's something else. Every event wants something specific to that event. So changing your one sheet specific to an event, if you're pitching yourself, obviously for our list, it's a little bit different. You're keeping things more generic. But what you can speak about and make sure it stays specific. And then the other thing is credibility, testimonials, something that people can prove, okay, this person actually spoke at, the Toyota convention or whatever it was. Yeah.
Well, and that's the whole reason, kind of going back to what we talked about before, that we created the Speaker's Advantage, was people don't always have that. When you get started, we talked about this earlier, or maybe we talked about it on Tuesday. When you speak at a lot of associations early on, you don't know the layout. You don't know what it's going to look like. Is it round tables? Is it small room? How's it going to be done? So even when you're trying to get good recordings, they're not great recordings. And that's why you guys went and found this perfect stage that's out there that people can come and sit and watch their friends, support them. But it's going to be 2 different camera angles. It's going to be professionally mic'd up. Not, you hope the AV is done well when you show up. I've shown up to events where they're like, yeah, we got lavalier. And they're like, oh, no, we don't. And here's a handheld mic. And then the clicker, they're like, oh, well, we're going to put your laptop over here. And the clicker is too far away from the laptop. Yeah. So then it just makes it awkward because you have to walk across the room. So you're not on the stage. So it's hard when you're first getting started to get the things that you need, AKA assets, to show people that you are a speaker and you know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah, so, absolutely. And even if that is promised, even if the AV is promised, anything on any given day could break down. Now, luckily, most big AV companies have backup equipment or gear, but on any given day, for some reason, the audio could cut out. So it's always important to also somehow have your own backup, even if it's an extra little mic or an extra little something, having that, having your own equipment, even if it's just for, like I said, a backup, and not having a huge videographer is big. And that's why, like you said, this opportunity is huge, because no matter what, you're going to be walking away with great assets, and you can use it however you want. You can make a reel out of just those 2. You can add it to already existing, so it's updated. If you have a new look you're trying out or a new speech, you're going to get feedback. You get a post critique. And so it's just a great opportunity for people just starting out. Like myself.
Well, it's everything in one location. We talked about it on Tuesday. I hired a videographer when I spoke at something called BOMA, which is Building Office Management Association. It was a good layout. It was good things, but you had to pay their travel time plus their video time, then their editing time, But with this, there's going to be everything from hair and makeup if they want to have it done, wardrobe consultants. What else we're going to have? They can opportunity to be on Larry's podcast, so they get to practice so many different skills. Yes.
Yeah, professional shots. They're going to walk away, like after the podcast, they're going to walk away with, the assets of also talking about their business and what they do, an interview. which you can obviously repurpose for everything. And then actually after you book a time afterwards, there's all these a la carte options too. So if you even just get the basic version, you can go on and still get the a la carte and pick and choose what you want. And there's so many great options, like a course for how to monetize after you get a speaking gig. My course will be on there on how to pitch yourself to the media and speaking events. There's so many opportunities, coaching by, Brian, and coaching by Karen. And there's so many different options for people. So you can kind of make it what you want, which is great. And it's at a price that's so affordable compared to what I've seen out there.
Oh yeah, for the cost of what you'd hire a videographer alone for, it's well worth the cost, the price of admission.
I want to go back to something Brian said 2 days ago about when you're on stage and having your notes, you not having them with your PowerPoint, because 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be able to see your notes. So how much you really need to know your content and know what you're talking about and have it set up, because we were told a long time ago to have 4 different starting points to 5 starting points. So if you lose your train of thought, you can go back to it and start over. And I think a lot of people are expecting to have those things, and that's not going to be there.
Oh, yeah. Right. You'd be surprised with how many events we set up and the organizer says, yeah, no, don't worry about a notes page on the confidence monitor. And then we get there and speakers freak out because they don't have their notes. It happens all the time. But, I'm also old school. When I was an anchor, I always had a printout version, and I would always bold random spots that I could always just bump back to, kind of like what you were saying. But you'd be surprised at how many conferences don't set up notes as an option for the confidence monitors.
Well, we've had Greg Reed on before, and one of the things he talked about is every time he speaks, he has a series of songs. And so he just knows, okay, I'm going to put these 4 songs together. That's going to be my speech, instead of thinking I have one big long speech. And then there's people who also physically anchor when they're talking. Okay, when I'm standing over here, this is one talk. When I'm up over here, this is another one. This is another one. And then this one's a 4th one. There's different tricks that people can do to even remember where their stories are, because to Ed's point, if you think you have to rely on your notes and your notes aren't there, you're screwed. I will say there's one I learned from somebody else that we'll pimp Amberly's book real fast, that they get and they go like, this book changed my life. And what they do is on this side, they've got their notes written, but the audience can't see it. So they're talking about, oh, this is such a good book and everything. And they're pimping out somebody else's book or their own. And they've got a cheat sheet on the back that nobody else can see.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
well, maybe when I speak, I was gonna say maybe when I speak at the Speaker's Advantage, I'll put notes on my wrist so I can, just look down if I need to.
Thank you for coming today.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, and it's, if you're doing video, be careful with having a teleprompter. Because you guys were talking about thinking before. I tried using it and I couldn't stop my eyes from moving. No matter how hard I tried, you could see my eyes going, reading the stuff. And it just memorize it. And so that you don't have to. I know that's not what we do with multiplication anymore, but that's what you're supposed to do.
Memorize, but just know it. I mean, it's your story, right? So in theory, you should be able to talk about it. I just had to give a maid of honor speech for my sister's wedding. And like I said, I hate public speaking, but obviously for her, I'd do anything. So I hopped up there and I was, going through my speech, and I made sure that I had bullet points of like random stuff, but obviously I know the stories, I know the silly stories that I was telling about her. So I was able to go through and have it memorized. But if you structure your speech or whatever you're talking about based on true stories that then in theory, you shouldn't have to either have your notes or just straight up memorize. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I'm in the mortgage real estate industry, so I can talk about any of that kind of stuff without even thinking.
Yep.
But when I got into the other side of talk, and I can do sales the same way, business stuff the same way. But if there's certain things that I don't know that I'm trying to understand and do things, that is when I get nervous, because that's not something that I do all the time.
I mean, but that's completely understandable.
I know that's my only issue. I know, but that's so that I tried, and that's why I do so many of these podcasts and I record 13, 14 things a week, is so that I get really good at it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter why you do it and where it is. I mean, if you look at what Brian and I have been doing this show for over 2 years, and the only place you can find it is on our Aces 53 YouTube channel or on Facebook, LinkedIn, and those places. Do we put it up as a podcast? No. Should we? Yes. But again, yeah. But it's been
I would listen. It's great.
and that's the plan is you know, I have a thing I'm working with, and they're doing a bunch of my other stuff and getting it all set up for me because and that's taking time. This will be the second to last to be done.
Very cool. Saving the best for second to last.
No, because I took over my Inner Edison and my Helping the Brave editing and all that stuff when I took it back. But now then I'm like, okay, this is how I want it done. So getting everybody set up the way I want it set up is what's taken over the last month. And people go, well, you've been doing with these for a while. Well, I did all this stuff I had on my task list first when I should have done this first.
Yeah.
So even we all learn.
Yeah.
Constantly evolving.
Always a process.
Yes. Just money.
Yeah. Time and money, right?
Yeah. That's all.
Well, the problem is when you hand off stuff to somebody to teach them how to do it, doubles your workload to triple your
I know.
Initially.
And you hope it'll be worth it in the end.
Well, it's always been in the past. I'm in California. I'm tired of employees. They're just always,
especially the new generation.
Well, the employee, it's just California laws when it comes to employees.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I can't hire contract. They're an employee first. I have to hire them out of the state in order to pay them contract.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, we don't have that in Texas.
Of course not. Yep, it's Texas, but I don't have tornadoes or big bugs and hell and all this other stuff either.
You have earthquakes and fire, right? I mean,
you don't have
those
hail,
are a little freaky.
We have earthquakes in San Francisco area and LA, which I don't live in, but where I am, we might feel a shaker occasionally, but no. Yeah. And yes, fires happen everywhere.
Yeah.
There's more fires in Colorado than here in California.
I believe it.
Yeah. You guys don't have enough trees because they can't survive.
Not enough vegetation. Well, we have, I mean, Texas, I feel like is such a little bit of everything. I mean, we have the desert over there, if you go west, and then we have East Texas is like beautiful and green. And then we have mountains and we have cold and we have, lakes and
brown water beaches.
The ocean. Yeah, I was going to say technically.
And humidity.
The ocean. Yeah. We have humidity. We have dry. I mean, you could literally drive 2 hours and you're in a completely different situation.
There you go.
Well, that's why you can drive 14 hours and still be in the same state.
That's crazy. When I first moved here, I drove from New York City all the way to West Texas. And we got to Texas and I was like, yes, finally I'm in Texas. I'm in the state. And I grew up in New Jersey and you can cross the state in like 40 minutes. So I was like, oh my God, we're finally here. And I looked down at, my GPS and it was like 14 hours still of driving. And I was like, what the heck? This is miserable.
We have to go from San Diego to the northern tip to do that. So
Yeah, here it's if you want to go like from Dallas where we live to South Padre, I think it's like 12 hours, to get down the beaches, and then you can cross over to Mexico, which some areas are still dicey doing that right now. But as a kid, we used to go to the condo every summer, but it was a long freaking drive to get there. That was for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right. Did we miss anything on your guys' thing? Or
I don't think so. So it's going to be October 15th in Plano, Texas. Who's it for? People who need to create the assets. They need pictures, they need video, proof of what they're already doing. And that's one of the important parts is this is not a come up and decide, oh, I want to be a speaker, and so I'm going to fake this thing. This is for people who are already speaking, have something that they've already wanted to talk about. They've practiced it before. This is how do you capture the moment to be able to display it to other people. And the best way to find out more information about it is thespeakersadvantage.com. Or you can reach out to Sarah, you can reach out to me or Karen Gray. We're the three, kind of the trifecta of team here who's putting it all together. And just reach out to us for it.
Now, do you guys show where the venue looks like?
On the webpage?
Yeah, on the website. Yeah, we do. It's pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, it's a good venue. It really is. Yeah. That's one of the things when they went and researched it, and really Karen, who couldn't be with us today, is the one who really kind of kicked this thing off. It was just
kind of her baby,
what she found. Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm gonna see if I can show since you asked, Ed.
I'm on here looking.
Yeah, no, I was going to share it real
Oh,
fast.
there
But
it is. Yeah. Okay. I just didn't know how big it was.
it's a good size one. It's really
Mhm.
So
impressive.
it's like a theater.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. Like an old
Yeah.
school theater.
Yeah, I'm going to pop up a picture of it real fast.
Yeah, they can just go to Speaker's Advantage. They can.
I know, but for the people who can't see it, we'll
There's
just
only
pop it
20
up
spots left.
That's right. Let's see.
I say I can share the picture if you want. Am I able to present?
I think I've got it. I'm just
You got it?
moving
Okay.
over to a different
He
one
doesn't want all
here.
this porn up.
Yeah, you got to hide that first. Now I jumped over because I was in Chrome for this, and I want to change over to what do you call it?
I don't know. You're making the story up.
Yeah.
What's nice about the location too is that it has like a lot of really good AV that's already with it. So it has stage lighting, it has the the drapes around it to make it look like a really professional stage. And there's a couple of different backgrounds that you're going to get automatically. And then you can upgrade to have your logo or something like that on the back. So it's a good opportunity.
There you go, Brian.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. It wouldn't let me pop up. No, it finally popped up on mine. Okay. Yeah.
That's not the. Oh,
Yeah. So this is just the page. I'm getting to it. So the three of us. And for some reason, it said it wouldn't share a minute ago. So I was back up at the top. Everything everybody's going to get, 2 different packages. But to your point, this is what the stage is going to look like.
Yeah.
yeah. Because the stage that shows in the video, I wanted to make sure it wasn't that one.
No, this was one. Went researched, looked at different ones because that's the most important part is what does the actual stage look like? And then that way you can set up the cameras for different angles and videos and everything else.
Yep. And they have like a second tier. It's like a true theater. So they have a second tier that you can also get an upshot to. So that's the other thing I didn't even think about. If people wanted to bring their own cameras, they probably always could get another
That's
angle.
what,
Why is the
Steve.
screen so low? Oh,
What's that?
it was just so low on the screen.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I think it's just because the wide screen. Well, that's one of the things Steve and Henry used to do is when they'd go to events, they would actually take their own GoPros and also ask could they go set them up ahead of time so they could capture additional angles just in case the AV team didn't capture ones that they look like.
Yeah,
So,
it's smart. It's smart. Or, if the, for some reason the AV team just doesn't white balance correctly or, frame rates or just anything, human error.
100%. All right. Well, I've got to get going out of here. Sarah, thank you for joining us today. Ed, you want to take us out?
Thanks for having me so much. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, Sarah's nice to get to know you. Appreciate
you. You
Thanks
too. Thank you for your service, Ed.
Oh, thank you. Again, thank you for being here. I appreciate you both being here. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Sarah. And I thank you for watching. We really appreciate you doing this. If you like what we do here, just go to Aces53 on YouTube channel and subscribe. And we'll be back here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And again, thank you both of you again for being here. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.